How did the TSA do it? After a dismal spring of long lines at security checkpoints, the agency pulled off a turnaround between Memorial Day and the 4th of July that managed to save summer air travel. Here to tell us how is WSJ's middle seat columnist, Scott McCartney. Hi, Scott. Thanks for being with us.
Hi, Tanya.
So, Scott, that's a pretty quick turnaround. This was clearly a priority. How much improvement has there been?
Well, it really has been dramatic. We're essentially back to normal waits. Seattle, where passenger traffic is up about 10% this year, they were averaging an hour wait with longer peak times. And then mid-June to mid-July this year, they've averaged 20 minutes.
Wow.
Denver has had the 10 busiest days in the airport's history so far this summer. And they were averaging peaks each month from February to May, about 25, 26 minutes. That declined to 18 minutes in June. Chicago, sort of ground zero for nightmarish TSA backups over 2 hours in mid-May. They actually, in the 2 weeks before the 4th of July weekend, their highest peak that the airport recorded was 9 minutes.
Wow.
So it's been huge.
Fantastic. So how much of this was a team effort? Did the airports help? Did Congress get involved?
Yeah, everybody did. It's quite remarkable. Airports, airlines, I would argue passengers, and the TSA has really, for a big bureaucracy, they've made huge changes. Airports and airlines, they hired 600, the equivalent of 600 full-time contract workers at big airports all across the country. So people to move the bins and keep the lines moving. That actually put TSA screeners back in screening functions, and so TSA could open a lot more lanes with that. Congress reprogrammed some money for TSA. They got to hire 768 workers early in the summer. They've converted a lot of, up to more than 1,000 now. They have authorization for 2,700 conversions of part-time workers to full-time workers. That gives them more hours to open checkpoints earlier and get things going. So they've hired it's just been a really good partnership.
And now, was there any one big change that TSA officials say proved to be the most effective of all the changes?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and TSA says the biggest thing, was the central command center. So they are now monitoring wait times at big airports every hour. They have a conference call every morning with all of the federal security directors at they're up to now the 30 largest airports, plus all the airlines involved, plus the airports themselves. They talk about projections, they talk about equipment problems, they move staff around. But more than anything, now they're holding these guys accountable. So TSA says there are airports that had hour-long waits and they didn't add extra staff, and all of a sudden you got to get on the conference call every morning and report your results, and guess what? They're doing much better.
A little peer pressure never hurts, right, Scott?
Huge peer pressure, absolutely.
So what can we expect will happen in the fall? I mean, a lot of these summer vacations were postponed. You're going to see a lot of agents taking vacation. Can we expect a return to those long lines?
Well, that's the big fear now. Vacations were postponed. Those are coming back. They've used overtime liberally. A lot of that's going away. They've deferred non-essential training. They're going to lose those contract workers that airports and airlines are paying for, although they're now in negotiations to try and keep them on through Christmas because there is a lot of worry about the fall. TSA will have fewer agents, but then again, there will be fewer travelers.
Right.
Everybody's worried that we're back to spring. Travel is still going to be up, and there may be staffing issues, but TSA really believes, and we'll see, that this central command center and the daily conference calls and the structural changes they've made will prevent another meltdown.
Well, it sounds like there were some great lessons learned, so that could very well be the case. Scott, thank you so much for that.
Sure, great to be with you.